Still cheating and still not completely following the rules. I've done a couple soft belly meditations, which is simply putting my hands on my belly and breathing into my belly until my belly softens. It's a lovely technique that I first learned about in a book called Dharma Punks, which I highly recommend. I have decided that one of the other rules in this fear project is that I will speak to the fears that I have around this project each morning. In take two, in the second take, I had just explained that one of the impetuses for this project was that I had just decided when I was 49 last year that when I became a half a century old, that was kind of a marker to make some big changes. My grandma's pushing 100. She's about to turn 100, so technically I guess I'm not middle-aged yet, but it's a definite time of my life, right? It's a transition time. It's a time for saying, hey, this is the second half. What's going to change? What's it going to look like? One of the things that I have decided, and I just recently watched a clip for a movie by Sustainable Human about addiction and how behind addiction is pain, and how we need to find the power within ourselves, either through Christianity or otherwise. But we need to find the power within ourselves and the power within our communities to sort of stand up. And then immediately following watching that trailer, I was shown that Time's Person of the Year are the women standing up. It's not appropriate right now, I don't think, to go into details, but obviously I'm a woman and I have stories of my own. And being of a certain age, my stories were not just not believed, the stories weren't just not believed, and I'm just going to get into my fear through that. The other side of it was that I was and not just shamed, but part of the story that I was told to believe was that in some way I was crazy. My words maybe, but some ways I was completely misinformed. I was completely wrong. I'm going to give some details. One of the stories had to do with my gymnastics coach, and he was eventually fired from his job in 2010. In 2009, I believe he was made Coach of the Year. I'm going to push through. The reason I'm mentioning that is that it was in 2010. Obviously, I'm quite old. I was a gymnast with him from the time I was 8 to 13. And so that would have been until, my timing, I think 1981. In any case, it was from that point until 2010 that I lived with the idea that I was making it up, and etc. So my point is that and other events in my life had made it quite difficult for me to stand up and be authentic and not be vulnerable to the claim that potentially I need help. I need help as a way to stop me. This is what happened the other day. Somebody said that. Somebody close to me who needed to hurt me for their own their issues. And I realized that, and then I got quiet and I listened to my intuition, and I realized it was their process, not mine in this case. And from there, though, I started realizing how I didn't need to believe that story anymore. And not only that, I mean, here's what happened, and I really do want to share this. Sorry, I'm getting just a moment. If I go over 5 minutes for this reason, I'll just be quick. I'm doing a soft belly meditation. Because this is big. What I realized is, there's no, of course I need help. Who doesn't? And the idea that I'm not seeing a professional, seeing therapists or counselors or reading books that will help me or praying daily or meditating, the idea that I'm not doing that somehow is crazy. Of course I am. Of course I need help. Of course everyone needs help. It would be sort of ridiculous if we didn't, wouldn't it? Life isn't that easy. I just had the conversation with my eldest son yesterday about how, and this was a fun one, wouldn't it be nice if we could just please evolve past going to our go-to survival techniques of fear, flight, or freeze, and fight, flight, or freeze, whatever. And it's really early in the morning, and just keep learning. Our new survival technique for the new age, this new part of our lives is, please, let's just keep learning. Maybe couldn't